Welcome. Today I'm going to show you the stretches that I do pretty much after every single workout. Now, bear in mind, I used to have chronic sacro-iliac problems, which is lower back issues, lots of pain, and I also broke my neck when I was 18, 19. So I focus a lot on stretching out my sort of shoulders and my neck. Most of us, particularly if we sat at desks, we get really round shouldered. So a lot of these exercises are designed to sort of stretch the chest area and to help with some rotation in our back, but also really stretch out the neck well. It's a whole body workout, whole body stretch. Now, this is what I've sort of pieced together over the years. Give it a try, see if it helps. So I'm going to just literally go through what I do and follow along if you want to. So first of all, I normally start at the top of my body and I work my way down. So first of all, I literally just do some ups and downs in my neck. Now, what you want to do is make sure you keep your mouth closed so that when you're going up, the whole purpose here is to stretch this area. I'm also a sports massage therapist, and so few of us actually ever stretch this area out, and it can get really tight. So keep your mouth closed. You want to be up and down, and then you'll try and make you get as many chins as you can, and then back up again. Now, some people say pull down on the back of your head to help stretch the muscles out at the back of the neck. It doesn't work for me. It'll often send my neck off into like a little bit of a spasm. I don't recommend pulling on necks at all. If you do it and it works for you, great. Otherwise, avoid pulling down on it. And so I just do that a few times. If I've got a lot of neck ache, if I wake up with a crick, I obviously spend more time on this. And then next I'm going from left to right. So keep your shoulders straight and down. And then you're just rotating like that. Do that a few times. Now again, some people say do full head rotations. Again, I don't think full head rotations, particularly round at the back, are good for dodgy necks. I don't do full head rotations. I can hear it crunching. Personally, I don't recommend it. What I do recommend is to put one arm out here to the side and sort of get it so you're sort of pushing down on it. So you've got a nice stretch here on the top of your shoulder. And then here you are going to take the side of your head. You're just going to pull it a little and you'll feel a lovely stretch over here and up here. But then the secret, you're going to rotate your head down. So you're going to be looking towards the armpit of your left arm. And that gives you a lovely stretch down the back of the neck here. And then rotate it back up to the top, and then repeat on the other side. Oh, I can really feel that. Go down and sort of hold it for a good few seconds. I mean, you can hold all of these for longer than I'm doing. I want to get through the session, so this video isn't too long. And then again, I just backwards and forwards a little just to sort of free that up again. And then into sort of underarms, etc. now. So you're probably all are familiar with this one. You take one arm down the back and you use this hand to push it back, and this stretches out your armpits and also your triceps. And the other side. And then when I've done that, I come round and now I'm stretching over this side of my shoulder. So keep the shoulder down and just pull it across like that. You should feel a nice stretch actually in the back of your neck too. So I can feel a stretch here when I'm doing that, as well as across the shoulder girdle here. And do that. Always repeat on both sides, and always make sure you take time to stretch after a workout. The stretch is as important as the workout. Right, now next what I do is I interlink my hands like this, and then I roll a sort of, make my belly stick out. It's not a very attractive pose, but you get a lovely stretch across the back of your shoulders. So top and back of your shoulders, and also into your thoracic spine as well. Oh, it feels lovely. And then swap hands and do the same. Oh, it feels so nice. Right, next one. Interlace your hands here like that. We're going to go over the top. This is sort of doing the opposite to what we've just done. So you're going to go up like this. You'll feel stretch on so many different levels here. You're going to hold your hands up like that. So go down as far as you can, sort of rotate from the hips. So you'll feel a nice stretch at the back of your legs. But you're now, this is sort of focusing more on the arms and the shoulders still. Now you're going to turn your hands over. So your palms are facing the ceiling. And that gives you a lovely stretch around the back of your shoulders. And the thoracic spine again. I love, 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 love this stretch. And come up. Ooh, shake it out a little. Now, if you've got tight forearms, I suffer with RSI quite a lot. You can do this. Just pull them down a little bit. You can do that. Now, these work to a degree, but there's an awesome stretch that when I get on the floor, I'm going to show you. I found it by mistake, but it stretches this, well, I'll show you when we get down there. So right, we've done all that. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring you down to the floor. Hopefully you can see okay. As you can tell, this is very ad lib. If you can't see very well from there, I'll pop you back up at the top. You can pop that there. Hopefully that will work. Professional setup, not. Right, so now we're going to focus more on the thoracic spine. This is one of my favourite stretches. In fact, I'm going to start with this one first. So you are literally going to, oh no, it's not, it is on the back. I'm getting confused. So your knees are going to be at a right angle like that, just on the floor. And then you are going to, oh, in fact, I think I'm going to have to put it back up. Sorry, I don't want this to be too long. I should have prepared first, but this is the way I run. So I think you can see that. So we're going to be in this pose now. Hopefully you can see. And then this hand is going to sweep across the floor. So you're going to get a nice stretch. And then you're going to come back across and you're going to open it out. And the back of this hand is going to touch the floor. Oh, and you're just going to open up. And this is really good for the thoracic spine. So you're going to do that a few times. Depending on how tight you're feeling, most of us have sort of thoracic spine and lower back issues because of the fact that we sit down most of the day and work in front of laptops. And this is just going to help open all of that up. Oh, it's just lovely. And then we're going to do it on the other side. Hello, Muffle. You're going to be my help. All right, and then over the top. Oh. Hello, my Snoopy. Snoopy, dogs, can you move? Can you move? I'll get you breakfast in a minute. Over. Oh, excuse me, dogs. And then, so do that a few times, and you should feel a nice stretch here. The other one is to, so your hands are like in a T shape, or a T, you know, both hands are arms out to the right, to the side. And now you're just going to lower your legs, which are at right angles, and you're going to scoop over and back across. Now, if you're like me and you have an anterior tilt, so you have a bit of a gap between the floor and your lower back, when you do this, push down into the floor just to protect your core muscles. But a lot of us are built with that anterior tilt. It basically makes your bum stick out and you have that gap at the back of your lower back. This is also it helps to engage the core muscles as well. But this is a lovely, and you can even lie in this for a bit. Oh, and you can feel all that stretch. I can feel that down my oblique muscles and down my ribs, my intercostals. Oh, it's glorious. And so hold that for a little while. And then come up. get up to seated. So now we are going on our hands and knees. So this one, try it from this angle. You are going to put your hand behind your head and your elbow up to the side, and now you're just going to rotate through here, and then you're going to try, now I don't have very good range of motion. Some people can get their arm right the way up to the ceiling. I can't, so this is something I do need to work on. Sometimes your genetics will affect it, but you want to try and keep, when you're here, you want to try and keep your hips fairly level to the, parallel to the ground. And this, you'll feel a stretch across your back here, and then up. Oh, and rotate it around as much as you can. I struggle with this one. I should do more of them. You see that my rotation on that side is even worse. So it would suggest I need to do more of these. Now, there's another exercise which is lovely, and it includes when it's called threading the needle. When you're down and your arm is through, which I'm going to show you, you need to take a deep breath. And by taking that deep breath, it expands your rib cage, and it just helps to improve on that stretch. So now what we're going to do, you're sort of going to go, you're going to be on all fours, and then you're going to push one arm through. And as you push your arm through, you're going to sit back a little bit. Oh. Take a deep breath, hold the breath, and then come back up again. Now you're going to repeat the same on the other side. Oh. Back up. So I'm going back on my hips a little bit, but I can feel a lovely stretch here across my lower back. I can also feel that across the top of my shoulders. So now this is the magic formula if you have RSI. I'll try and do it this way, so I think you might see it the best this way around. So what you want to be doing, it's also a nice back stretch. You want to be on the floor and your arms need to be out and bent at 90 degrees like this. Now what you're going to do, I'm going to move one leg across to the back, and that foot ideally is going to touch the ground. I'm going to get a lovely stretch across here. I'm going to feel the rotation here, but also in the underside of my right forearm and shoulder, I can feel a massive, massive stretch. And that stretch that you can feel sort of underneath your elbow and in your forearm is what is going to help relieve your RSI. Oh, it's just phenomenal. And then obviously repeat it on the other side. But I would hold this quite a bit longer than I'm doing right now. You might feel a little bit of sort of pressure in your lower back when you're doing this stretch, but we'll get rid of that in a second. And if you can't put your foot on the ground, don't worry, just move your leg backwards, and with practice you'll get better at it. Today my foot on this side doesn't want to go down either. It's just about doing what you can do and not comparing yourself to other people. So now, because I can feel that across here a little bit, just literally going to go into do a cat-cow. And then up. Now, if like me, you've done lots of core work today, your tummy, your abdominal muscles will be feeling tight. So literally the one thing I do with these is I just do a sort of cobra. Now I'm quite stiff in my lower back, so I can't go up very high, but I'm just doing it enough that I can actually feel the stretch in my abdominal muscles. I hold that for a little while, and then I just literally go back into child's pose. And then we're going to move on. Right, the next one, we're sort of on the floor now. My favourite place. Has the easiest way. So I'm going to put obviously one leg out in front of me, the other one, if I do it at an angle, and then the other leg cross and move over, muffle please. The other leg crosses over, and then I'm going to use the elbow against, so the outside of my elbow goes against the outside of my knee, I'm just going to sit up, pull my tummy in and rotate and look over my back shoulder. And you'll find that's a lovely, lovely stretch for your lower back, but also your glutes. It's funny, as a sports massage therapist, people come in to me with a lot of lower back pain. And they've been for massages in the past, and nobody's touched their glutes, their bum muscles. Honestly, if you have lower back pain, you need to stretch out your glutes. That's often the cause of it. Because the gluteals are actually attached to the top of the sacro-iliac sort of crest. And they need a really good massage, pummel. If you don't want to go to a massage therapist, make sure you choose a bona fide proper one, not a dodgy one. You can use a roller to roll out your glutes, or you can use a tennis ball and just roll on top of it. So put it underneath you and you sit with your legs, on your bum, and you you have to rotate your body a bit to find those pressure points, and where it really hurts, that's where you need to work, unfortunately, but it will get better. So that's that one. Right, now I have got incredibly tight hamstrings. So for me, the secret with this is to rotate from the hips and not to hunch over. It makes it look like you can't stretch as well, but that's the correct way to do it. So you rotate from the hips, and I actually paddle my feet forward like this, because to just sit there and hold it is just like, oh no, it's too painful. Ugh. I actually did manage to fold over once, and I'd really focused on stretching my hamstrings. So I know I can do it, I just don't spend enough time doing it really. But you might be able to fall flat, in which case, kudos to you. The next one, so you're going to put one leg over that knee. Again, you're going to pull in your tummy, and you're going to keep your back as straight as you can. And that gives you a really good stretch down here. So again, sort of the outside of your thigh muscles, your glutes, your IT band. But it's a lovely one. It's actually really good for you as well. I can feel that. And then repeat the other side. Keep your foot flexed, so don't let it go like that. It just supports the ankle a bit more. Oh, feels so nice. I can really feel that. And then I use a weight for the next exercise because it helps me pull in a bit. Again, if you're really stretchy, I'm just going to grab my weight. If you're really stretchy, you might be all right with this. But again, my hamstrings are rubbish. The next one, open your legs. I put a weight here. And again, this is sort of just to help to stretch the inside of the thighs. In our workouts, we do a lot of inside thigh work. And so, get into a comfortable V for you. And then I hold this, and it just helps me pull forward. Keep a nice straight back while you're doing this. Don't sort of hunch over again. The tendency is always to hunch because it makes you feel like you've got lower in your stretch. But actually you haven't, you're just rolling over, you're just hunching your back and your shoulders. And some people say don't bounce. I used to dance ballet till I was until I broke my neck. So a long time, and we always bounced. I think there are different theories. Bouncing works for me. I've never pulled or torn a thing. Oh, I tore ankle ligaments in my ankle once, but that was an accident. That wasn't part of my stretching routine. Oh, that's good. Right, and then obviously we need to stretch our quads. So for this one, you might need to hold on to something. Make sure your tummy's nice and tight, and then literally just pull up. Now the secret to a good quad stretch, you want to keep your knees together. So a lot of people do it like that. That's not going to give you a good stretch. Keep your knees together, and then you want to make sure that you're pushing your pelvis forward, because it helps elongate all those quadricep muscles. You might not be able to get both hands behind your back. If you can just do it with one hand, it's absolutely fine. You might not be able to get your heel up to your bum. If you can't, just go with what works for you. And then obviously repeat it on the other side. And you just hold that in again for a few seconds. Feel a nice stretch down the front of your thigh. And then another one I do to try and help stretch the back of my legs, I cross them over, try and rotate from the pelvis, and that you'll get a nice stretch in your calf muscles there as well, sort of behind your knees, down your hamstrings, and then cross over again. I can really feel that. Oh. And then a lot of people don't realise in our lower leg we have the calf muscle, so the gastrocnemius, then we have a muscle under that called the soleus, which leads into the Achilles tendon. Often we often stretch the top calf muscle, but we tend not to stretch the soleus underneath it, which sort of forms into that Achilles. So what you want to do is this. It's really simple. Bend both knees like this, one foot in front of the other, hip width apart, and it's the back foot, the back leg, that you're going to be feeling the stretch. And the same on the other side. I can feel that more in my left leg than I can my right leg. And that just helps protect that Achilles tendon, which has the habit of snapping if you don't look after it very well. But make sure you look out, you know, it is just a matter of having a system that works for you well and that you can commit to doing every day. Even if you just spend a few minutes doing it, it's better than nothing at all. And I think I've done all the stretches I normally do. It's different talking about it because I just sort of whiz through it myself. I think I've done it. So I hope that was helpful for you. Remember that RSI one, give it a try. It might be quite uncomfortable down here the first time you do it, but persevere with it. It transformed my problems. I do have an ergonomic keyboard, I do have an ergonomic mouse and a gel pad, just because I spend a lot of time in front of the laptop working. But you know, there are things that we can do also to help. So really hope that helps. If you've got any questions, send me a comment or a message, and have a cracking day.